I'm Namrata here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie Gehraiyaan, which we all watched the moment it released because of so much discussion around it. And the thing is, if you didn't watch it, you can totally skip it. But what I'm going to be talking about today is the trope of complex female characters, as they say, which is basically a subscription of how a good person should be like, which the society decides, and how a female character in a particular movie unsubscribes from it and how the society reacts to it. Nowhere am I going to talk about the review of the movie per se, except in the second point that I'm going to talk about, where the movie in the majority part was totally about something of a real depiction of infidelity, and then the cinematography and screenplay just decides to abscond it and be like, hey, you know what, that genre that we were doing, we're going to totally skip it and go into the thriller section, because क्या पता मूवी शायद बहुत बोरिंग हो गई उनके लिए खुद को बनाते बनाते And third, I'm going to talk about how a lot of movies are left open-ended in the end, where it almost seems like it's a cliffhanger for a second movie or a sequel, or it feels like it's open to interpretation, which a lot of artsy movie try to do in situations like this when they have nothing else to point out. I'm not going to be talking about how pathetic all the actors were in it, including Deepika, who's one of my favorite as actresses, for no other reason. Another thing that I'm not going to talk about is choice feminism, because she herself had made a video about how it's my choice to do something out of a marriage, right? And here she was, although not married to the said person who she was dating. Very funnily, there is a dialogue at the end of this movie which speaks about my choice is right, when she's speaking to her father, and I kind of feel that that kind of is an arc to the video that she did back then. But if that's something that you want to discuss in the comment section below, I would love to, or even on my Instagram at radixbone, because I keep talking about choice feminism, radical feminism, all of that, any which ways. So let's get into the section 1 of the video essay that I'm going to do. Let me tell you, this is not a scripted video. I'm literally doing it in the middle of the night at 12:30, and it's not scripted because I felt like I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't want it to be forced or scripted at all, and that's the plain reason why I'm doing it in a non-scripted way. Otherwise, I do kind of script my videos, but I mean that I do it in a very short and simple, sweet way where I put the outline and everything, and I know it should be more scripted so that the videos are shorter and, you know, it's to the point. But I'm known to be outpouring my feelings on the internet, so why the fuck not? Very recently I received a WhatsApp joke about a man kind of wearing a mask and being out with his girlfriend, and how the message was all about the mask being a savior for him, and masks are still important in this era. And I was thinking, oh, it's a pro-mask COVID protocol message, whereas the second half of the message kind of said that, oh, you know why? Because she was the girlfriend and he came across the wife and the wife didn't recognize him at all, and ha 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 ha, right? So the trope of a man cheating on a woman in a heterosexual relationship is very easily accepted in society, so easy that it's made fun of on WhatsApp jokes. Same goes for marriage jokes, same goes for divorce jokes. It's made fun of in such a light manner that ha ha ha, the man is going to do it, you know, a man is gonna be a man. And this is all from the aspect of a heterosexual relationship. When you say that in such a light-hearted way in WhatsApp jokes, the ideal man's definition is literally so low, so bare minimum. कोई भी बन सकता है एक अच्छा आदमी, because the tick marks that they have to do is so less that when they do something like cheating with the girlfriend and the wife and all that jazz, it's a joke on WhatsApp. But suddenly when a woman does it or a female does it, it is not looked up on at all. I do not support infidelity at all. I do not support cheating at all. I do not even support emotional cheating when you have committed to someone in an emotional manner as well. What I'm trying to say is the society's reaction to it. I am all for complex female characters, but I am not for just cheating as a tick mark box to making a person a complex female character, right? Now, keeping that in mind, and also the trope of how a man has no standards because they've been given the bare minimum, but whereas the women have been given such high standards that a checklist is not tick marked for them to be a good character, hence they're considered complex just because she cheated on a guy. And I'm like, that's not complex. Like, that's not complex. Although there is some complexity involved in it when you compare it with the whole man who does the bare minimum and gets the good guy tick mark done for him, right? So in comparison, it is why people are obsessed with writing essays and articles on it being a complex female character. And in the other end of the spectrum, there are reviews and reactions online about how the pick up of the cone being a cheater in the film is like the worst thing that can be portrayed, and it's glamorization, glorification, and all that jazz. So I'm just saying that these two spectrum exists exactly because the binary of male and female and the standards given to them exist, right? I for one would love to crush the binaries in some way or the other by not speaking about this at all, but I have to because I feel like I have to. That's what I'm trying to say, is that that trope exists because, standard of being a good female character is so high, whereas the complexity of a man being a bad person is very very less because it's bare minimum. That's why films like Kabir Singh, or films which are very much displaying toxic masculinity, kind of do so well on the box theaters and everything, theater box, whatever, the theaters and things like that. See, I'm not even a movie review as much as I am like a person who wants to see all of this from a sociology point of view, because that's what makes the most sense to me. And that's why I'm talking about the reaction of society on a complex female character, because for me it wasn't, because for me the acting was bad. For me, this plot line was so dry, and as if you have seen my Instagram, I'm obsessed with water and close-up shots of water and all that jazz, which they tried to put in the movie, and I was just fascinated by that. I was just fascinated by that of the movie, and the cinematographic aspect of just water in between scene changes. I was excited with that. Nothing else, right? And yeah, it was cinematic. So coming to the cinematography slash screenplay slash plot line of the movie, in the second point that I was going to talk about, I was going to talk about how dry the first half, or like the majority half, or the majority part felt, because it was depicting a storyline between, say, three people who grew up together, and then things changed, and then enters this fourth character who is super rich, and then it kind of showcases the dryness of the Pickup with the Cones relationship. And that would have been a good movie if the thriller part was not added into it at all. मतलब, and movie कितने कम बजट में बनी थी, मतलब the scene where Tia or whoever that girl Ananya Pandey plays, when she falls, I can realize it in 1 second that it is fucking edited, and it is that Siddharth guy is the fourth character's imagination playing out loud. I mean, इतना कम था क्या प्रोडक्शन पैसा, या फिर वो सीन को किसी और तरीके से बताओ जिसमें इतना गंदा एडिटिंग ना हो. प्लॉट लाइन में ट्विस्ट एक बात है, I agree, but when you kind of leave the genre that you're showcasing and then suddenly go to a thriller genre, where is the aspect of the movie being a thriller movie in the before first half at all? There is none. Like the scene where this girl, the pickup at the cone, is sitting with the guy called Rajat Me Too Kapoor, and yes, I would like to introduce him that way. That scene felt fucking thriller-like to me, because I have seen almost so many murder mystery documentaries or thriller documentaries or true crime documentaries that is straight out of a thriller film, right? So when you do the scene like that, that makes me feel that was more like a thriller, or that scared me more than Ananya Pandey drowning, because I was like, हाँ ये तो fake है, ये तो सोच रहा है सिर्फ करके. you know. They shouldn't have left the genre, because if they would not have left the genre, the first half would have continued till the very end. I mean, the plot line and all is still fine, right? Like the coming to know about your mother's past, coming to know about why your mother died by, coming to know about what your sister did to your property, coming to know about the reality of this man you fell in love with. These realities are good plot lines that could have followed. But the thriller aspect just ruined it for me, because then I was more interested in knowing whether he survived or not, and the good plot lines were just like left, like they were out of the thinking process for me. The third aspect that I wanted to talk about was how movies are open to interpretation, and these kind of movies is something that I really, really like. I've told this before as well in like a movie review writing सेशन और लाइक वर्कशॉप वेयर वाई डू आई लाइक मूवी रिव्यू राइटिंग, ऐसा पूछा गया था. मैंने बोला था कि हमेशा ऐसा होता है कि एंड में जब मूवीज़ में ओपन एंडेड होता है, या फिर नॉट टू फॉर द सीक्वल बट रैदर लाइक ओपन एंडेड फॉर द ऑडियंस टू अज्यूम, राइट? लाइक देयर आर मैनी मूवीज एंड वन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ अ मूवी आई कैन गिव यू राइट नाउ इज दिस फ्रेंच मूवी परफ्यूम, which was kind of also done in English definitely, where the end of the movie kind of leaves you hanging with the question that is cannibalism a form of love, right? And that question kind of sat with me because I saw that movie when I was in like 9th or 10th grade, and I was very young and it was impressionable onto me. So if you're watching that, total trigger warnings of it being super intense, but and violent as well. But yeah, it left me with a question when the narrator of the movie spoke that, oh, is cannibalism a form of love and all that bullshit, right? And the same goes for a movie like Amis, which was also recently released, and saw it in Mami, where it may not have been entirely open-ended, but the question it puts you in, right? Like again, the same question: is cannibalism or like borderline cannibalism a form of love? And the acting in the movie was so great that it makes me question everything about love, and I loved that movie. So this movie Gehraiyaan was left in like such an open-ended way that it did not make me question anything, right? And that is where I was disappointed, because it's such a good way to leave it open, like the old lady that they saved from the boat, and that Siddharth kind of mentions her to be the fiancée, and that's when she gets irritated. It's like a callback to that scene where this lady recognizes and is like, hey, I've seen you. You are Alicia. You from the boat that I got saved from. So then the movie ends, right? But I have no question to solve in my mind. All the questions for me have already been solved. So this is just like a take that I had to put in the middle to make the video a bit longer. That I was just like, हाँ क्या अब क्या ठीक है, क्या सीक्वल बनाने वाले हो? नहीं, अच्छा तो क्या ओपन एंडेड रखना चाहते थे तुम? But like make me question with something at least. But that's how I expect it to be, and maybe that's not what everyone does want in a movie. Maybe some people want happy endings, some people want sad endings or melancholic endings. But yeah, so main point of it was the first point, where how society reacts to complex female characters. कुछ complex नहीं था ये character के बारे में, just that the standard of a good character or a good female person is so high that even if she ticks mark one box like, hey, I cheated, everyone's like, oh my god, complex female character. Secondly, the other spectrum where the society reacts as like, oh my god, she's a gold digger, oh my god, she used Siddharth. Like, please, he was a dude bro who was like entrepreneur, investment, and already having raids. I mean, please, I don't even think that Deepika Padukone had it in her to think about gold digging him, because a gold digger will be sure that the money will come to them, and she would have learned about, say, his investments and all the, I'll proofread documents and things like that, or read more about his investment per se, to make it sure that she's gonna get the money and it's not gonna go anywhere, because somehow it's such a big number, there's a yacht for clients and things like that. There's a high possibility that there's something fishy there, don't you fucking think? And wouldn't a gold digger think that? So yeah, so this is another spectrum, and I'm just talking about how the society reacts to characters like this. And I wouldn't call it a complex character at all. So yeah, if you guys have any other views about this, I'm totally open to them on my comment section. We can totally have a chat about it, and just be mindful to be kind about your comments, because I'll be kind in return. Thank you for watching if you watched it up until now, and I hope you guys like this movie review. No, it's not a movie review, this analysis that I did of complex female characters, and the two more points that I tried to add into it. If you want me to do more such videos, do like this video and share it, and probably subscribe to my channel. I would love that, because I want to do more of these kind of videos as well. And I hope to see you soon again. Thank you. In the end of the movie, I think there's one dialogue.